Am I the asshole for returning my stepdaughter's birthday gift because she didn't save a cupcake for my daughter? I'm female 33 engaged to my fiancé, male 36. I have a 4-year daughter and he has a 16-year daughter. He comes from a conservative family, so we won't move in together till after marriage. So far we're on good terms as a blended family, but I noticed that my stepdaughter acts kind of distant towards my daughter. Every time I try to talk to my fiancé about it, he'd tell me to give the kids a chance to bond and warm up to each other. My stepdaughter's 16th birthday took place on Sunday. Since she's into baking, she decided to bake cupcakes instead of having an actual birthday cake. My daughter and I went over to my fiancé's house to attend the party, and I brought my stepdaughter a gift, which was an iPhone. We sat down as she started serving everyone cupcakes. Then when it was my daughter's turn, she bluntly said she was sorry but she didn't save any for my daughter. I felt confused. I asked if she made enough cupcakes and whether there were guests that came uninvited. She said no and that she just didn't make one for my daughter. I asked why. She refused to say. I was so mad and felt hurt on my daughter's behalf. I got up and told my fiancé that I wanted to leave. My fiancé tried to stop me and offered his cupcake to my daughter, but I refused to take it. On the way out, I grabbed the gift I brought for my stepdaughter and she stood there and watched. I could hear her yell, "Dad, she took the iPhone," while I was walking out with my daughter. My fiancé tried to get me to go back inside, but I refused. Later, he came over and we had an argument. He said that I overreacted, and that I know how some teenagers can be moody and do random stuff without an explanation, so I shouldn't have taken it personally. I said she excluded my daughter and didn't save her a cupcake, but he said it was just a cupcake and then reminded me that he offered his cupcake and said I should have accepted it and called it a day. He said taking the iPhone, which was supposed to be a gift back, was poor taste and it might hurt my relationship with his daughter. I refused to give it to him so he could give it to her since she was crying about it. He left and was mad at me. We haven't talked since then except via texts. Edit # she's been wanting the iPhone for a while, and since her dad couldn't buy it, I decided it'd be nice if I gifted it to her. For those who are asking how a teenager could own an iPhone. I'm sorry if it's uncommon where you live, but where I live, iPhones are the most common phones. Also, I saw that she served her girlfriend a whole plate of cupcakes, so it's not like she baked a specific number. Not the asshole. And don't marry this man. He will clearly expect you to cater to his child, at the expense of your own. This is who he is, believe him and react accordingly. Yep, a 16-year-old is acting like this because she's been allowed to. And with only a few years before adulthood, the odds of her growing out of it aren't in original poster's favor. Wow. Your stepdaughter-to-be is a mean girl. Which is a polite way of saying that she is a brat. Brats are cultivated. Your fiancé allows this for the last 16 years, he's not going to change. Best of luck to you and your daughters having to deal with this bullshit. You sound kind of awesome, you deserve so much better. A mean girl, to a 4-year-old. That is absolutely bae shit crazy. Not the asshole original poster, do not marry into this family. You paid for an iPhone? Yeah, this really isn't about you being an asshole, emo. It's not an overreaction when you don't feel like being disrespected and unappreciated. She left a 4-year-old out on purpose? Play stupid games, kiddo, win stupid prizes. Not the asshole. Play stupid games, kiddo, win stupid prizes. I couldn't have said it better myself. Seriously. Like, what is up with people and just expecting no consequences to their shitty actions? Not the asshole, but wake up. Why are you the one paying for the expensive gift? The iPhone should be a parent or grandparent gift, not from you. Leaving was your only option at that point. It takes a special kind of ugly to want to exclude a 4-year-old little kid from a birthday celebration. If stepdaughter can verbalize that she intentionally did not make a cupcake for your daughter, she's old enough to understand why you left. Edit. The more I think about this, the worse it gets. The stepdaughter being a jerk is one thing, but the fiancé's reaction is unforgivable. I also wouldn't be able to get over his whole family standing by and acting as if a teen bullying a preschooler is no big deal. This man and his whole family showed you who they are, believe them. Original poster, you need to put major brakes on this relationship. Keep your finances separate. Consider it a blessing in disguise that you haven't moved in together yet. Oh, and I think you should give your daughter the phone. Let her use it to watch Disney. If you're not ready to break up, you should pull way back on the money you spend on your boyfriend. Are you paying for trips and little luxuries? Try taking a break for a few months and see how he reacts. Open your eyes. Greater than, if stepdaughter can verbalize that she intentionally did not make a cupcake for your daughter, she's old enough to understand why you left. Yep. Not the asshole birthday girl fucked around and found out. This. She sure did, lol. Not the asshole, I would way push off the marriage. To each their own, but waiting until marriage to move in together sounds like a horrible idea. You're going to have a blended family with a large age gap between kids. It's normal for a 16 years old and 4 years old to not be the best due to the large age difference. But not saving a cupcake is intentionally hurtful. The fact that he doesn't see what his daughter did wrong is also alarming. There's major issues here that need to be resolved before you get married. I wonder if Op is a bit more well off than her fiancé if she's the one buying the teen a phone and then he is coming around asking for it. I believe he is more interested in her money than her. It is like he came to her after the birthday to get the iPhone, not to find the solution after the problem. Also, his daughter being afraid not that the second half of her father is leaving, but that she takes iPhone with her is alarming too. I would definitely overthink those relationships. Not the asshole, you need to rethink this relationship. It will not get better after you are married and the four of you are living together. Your future stepdaughter deliberately made cupcakes for everyone except for a 4-year-old. She knew exactly what she was doing. That's rude and awful and horrible. I would have taken the phone back too, and not gone back until that teenager apologized to my daughter. I don't know if she's doing this to try to break you two up, but your fiancé should have had your back on this one. The fact that he did nothing to correct his daughter's atrocious behavior is telling. Edit to add the following because I reread it and got angrier. Consider this. A 16-year-old is crying because a phone was taken away from her because of her behavior. She's upset because of the consequences of her actions, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. But the 4-year-old did nothing except attend a party and get completely overlooked. She's the one who should be crying. That's where your fiancé's focus should be. This original poster. Given that the older girl acts out like this in front of others, I'd be extremely concerned about how she would act in private towards your daughter. Given your fiancé's enabling behavior, this may not be a safe situation for your daughter. Before you consider remain engaged, you should all go through therapy. Not the asshole AITA, do not give her the gift. She's badly in need of discipline and should face some kind of consequences for her actions. This right here, if she's so comfortable being this cruel to a preschooler in public, how terrible is she when you're not in the room? You can't marry a man who is raising his teenage daughter to think it is acceptable to bully small children, and who is actively supporting her in doing so. I don't think you guys should get married. Yes, original poster. One thing that really stuck out as strange is that the husband didn't offer a 4-year-old child his cupcake once he saw that your daughter didn't have one of her own. Letting a small child feel left out like that is really strange behavior. It should have occurred to him before you got up to leave that he should give his cupcake to your daughter. That's a horrible and really good point. Once the iPhone was on the line when original poster was moving to leave, then he cared? Not the asshole. She knew exactly what she was doing. Bet she didn't think it was cute when she realized she wouldn't be getting the iPhone. You might want to rethink that engagement if this is indicative of how your fiancé and his daughter will treat you and your child. Sounds like the 16-year-old is jealous of the 4-year-old. And not having a cupcake for a 4-year-old is not only a TTY thing to do, it's something the 4-year-old will understand. I'd wait the 2 years until the 16-year-old goes off to college before I make this permanent. Or, I'd find someone else whose kid doesn't treat my own kid like CRP. Look, I don't mean to judge, but assuming original poster is in America, I would hold off on marrying a man with a conservative family who would get upset about people moving in together enough that they don't do it. That screams controlling evangelical Christian to me, and trust me as someone who grew up in that, it is not a good experience for girls or women. Original poster is not the asshole on this. I was all prepared to say you're the problem, but honestly I think not the asshole. Actions have consequences. Teenagers don't get a pass on being a crappy person just because they are teenagers. She chose to exclude your daughter, you chose to return the gift. Let her dad but her an expensive iPhone. If she wants nice things from people she can be nice. Let me get this straight. She purposely excluded your daughter when baking her cupcakes, but won't go all the way and exclude your daughter from giving her a gift? Selfish brat. Also, your fiancé has just given you a gift at this party too. He gave you a crystal ball, which has shown you ahead of time what your life is going to be like with how his daughter treats yours, and what he thinks is acceptable from the little entitled brat he's raising. Not the asshole, run original poster. 16 is not so little anymore. Almost an adult. My teenage nieces go out of their way to be nice to my 4-year-old and I am so happy about that. Your stepdaughter-to-be is quite the little manipulator. She did this on purpose to cause a rift between you and your fiancé. You both fell for it. And now that she has been so successful at this first attempt, it is unlikely that she will stop unless your fiancé realizes her manipulation and does something about it. Not the asshole. They both didn't fell for it, her dad did. What could have original poster done? Ignored the slight. That's teaching her that she can be an asshole and walk all over her stepmom-to-be, which is much worse than teaching her she can break them up. Dad didn't fall for anything. Dad is supporting the kid's behavior because he sees nothing wrong with it. It means he's going to treat original poster like this too once he gets comfortable, most likely after they marry. Sue. She knew you bought her an iPhone and still deliberately bullied and excluded your daughter so she could do what exactly? She's a real piece of work and her father seems to be encouraging her. He didn't stop her when she came out with the "no cupcake for you" statement and only offered his cupcake after you said you were leaving. Not the asshole original poster. YWBTA if you don't rethink this whole relationship with your fiancé. The red flags are flapping at hurricane force. Not the asshole. His mean girl daughter didn't deserve an iPhone after intentionally being mean to a 4-year-old. You can't expect a 16-year-old and 4-year-old to bond as sisters. They're too far apart in years. It's not going to happen. And she is being passive-aggressive towards you in the way she's acting towards your daughter. There is no solution for this but for her to grow up. Your fiancé's reaction was so incorrect that if I were you, I'd be questioning this entire relationship. There's no way I would marry someone who doesn't have my back. Well, I have married someone who didn't have my back, so those are hyperbolic words. But, don't follow my stupid mistake and put yourself in this situation that's only going to get worse. Not the asshole. That was incredibly cruel to a 4-year-old. What horrible, vindictive and pointed bullying of a child. She doesn't have to like her, yet or ever, but this was just awful. Her dad should have stepped in immediately to discipline her. It's not about a cupcake. Do you still think merging your families is a good idea? This was in public. Imagine what she'll do to your daughter when you're not around. Seems like he only came over to get the expensive present, not offer a sincere apology, though his daughter should have done that herself. Notice that she only talked about the gift leaving, not you or your daughter. That he only offered his cupcake once you got up to leave? That he said you should have allowed this disgusting behavior, called it a day. Doesn't he think excluding and hurting your daughter might hurt the relationship? Nope. This is not the family unit that you need. Kick them out of your lives.